Yeah, so this is actually fascinating. Well, okay. We don't know. It's interesting. Their headline here says the Indiana Jones 5 set photos hint at moon landing plot point. Now, when you say plot point and someone reads that, what they think is that's what the movie is going to be about. But the only thing that we really know for sure is that one of the sets that they've actually created, basically there's a sign. Let me see if I can find it here. There's a sign that basically says, welcome home, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins, which were, of course, the astronauts from Apollo 11 that landed on the moon.
Wait. Where are you seeing that? Wait a minute.
It's about halfway down. Yeah. But I'll read it.
I see it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I'll read it here. The latest leak provides one more intriguing hint about the plot of Indiana Jones 5. Now, they said plot. Now, we don't know if it's plot. As revealed by the Glasgow Times, building fronts in the Scottish city are being altered by the film's set designers to look like the 1960s. There's a Pan Am sign in particular that gives away the time period. One especially telling image shows a sign in a window reading, "Welcome home, Armstrong, Aldrin, Collins," suggesting the scene to be shot in this location depicts the ticker tape parade thrown in New York City on August 13th, 1969 for the returning Apollo 11 astronauts. So, but that just because they're showing that could just be an element of the story that kind of gives us a time frame. It doesn't mean that Indiana Jones went to the moon or something. You know, it doesn't mean that. You know what I'm saying?
But remember, Indiana Jones at its heart is basically science fiction. Okay.
Of course. I mean, yes.
It's
fantasy. Yes.
Okay. Fantasy.
Science
fiction. They have aliens.
They got into that in the last one.
Atlantis and technology. I mean, okay, so it's like fantasy, sci-fi. It's a healthy mix, right? I remember reading books when I was young about Indiana Jones and the Moon Man and stuff like that. So, we all know that theory about how Nazis are living on the dark side of the moon.
No, I don't think they'll do that. Okay, yes, we have all heard that theory. I don't think that's what's.
You know what? I guarantee you, someone was like, Indiana Jones, and they came to Crystal Skull. They're not going to talk about the Brazilian Kingdom Skull. Crystal Skull.
That's okay.
Come on.
No. Okay, we're going to have to argue about this one. Listen, that makes more sense because Indiana Jones recovers, archaeological treasures.
Yeah, and now he's got to recover that bell thing that the Nazis hid, which is actually a spaceship that goes to the moon. And let me tell you something, bro. Okay?
But it has little, to do with.
Bro, I'm like 0-5 here. Okay, or 5-0 here.
5 for 5. You mean
5 for 5? Yeah, my brain is fried.
You cannot use all the Fast and Furious references to be right on all of them.
I have been right so many times.
No.
I throw the craziest stuff out there, and it somehow clicks.
You got lucky on a couple of those. This one ain't happening. I'm sorry.
I got lucky on a. Okay, so what happens if it happens? What if it's about Nazis populating the moon?
It's just not. I'm sorry. If it is, then I'm not going to watch it. That's it. Simple. There are no Nazis on the dark side of the moon. I'm sorry. I love the whole alien story, but that is not what this is about. Now, if it's about the Nazis trying to get to the moon, I'll buy that.
Well, they do have that. See, the saucer is what throws me off. Like, is it a dimensional? Is it like some kind of ship that can travel through dimensions or time? Or is it more realistic, as in it can go to the moon, perhaps? What if this is like definitely more realistic? And what if they're just trying to beat, what if they're trying to get to the moon for some reason?
I mean, there's a lot of technology they say that after World War II came from Germany. There's no evidence of this completely, other than all the scientists that went to Russia and America, and then we started the moon
Project Paperclip.
Yes, Project Paperclip. That was for aliens, though.
Project Paperclip?
I think so, wasn't it? I'll have to look at that again.
No, it was.
Oh no, that was you're right. That was the scientist that went to America.
The higher German scientists that were Nazis before, or worked for the Nazis or whatever.
And they were obviously advanced, so that Hitler had some advanced stuff going on. So maybe if that's
why did not NASA 90% of their staff at one point were all ex-Nazis.
Well, no, if we hadn't taken down Hitler when we did, there could have been trouble. They had a lot of technology. But the problem is this is taking place in 1969. Okay, that's what we figured out, at this point. If it's taking place in 1969, there are no Nazis officially anymore. Maybe they're hiding in South America. Maybe they're hiding in Antarctica. Maybe they're hiding on the dark side of the moon. But that's too laughable. I'm sorry. I can't go there. So maybe there's, how about this? 1969, there's maybe South America. I could believe Antarctica, maybe. I could believe Antarctica, Brian. I can't believe the dark side of the moon. Maybe there's, underground Nazis still working.
Hold up. There is definitely Nazis in this movie, though, Shane.
Right. So let's say they're undermining the moon landing for 1969. Maybe you have this weird patch of Nazis that never went away. Go ahead.
They sent a weapon to the moon, right? That would be able to shoot from space, but then the Nazis were taken down, and now these rogue Nazis are trying to get back there and reactivate it and use it to cause trouble. A moon laser. A moon laser.
No, Indiana Jones will not have a moon laser. Sorry. It has to stick to its base. It has to be archaeological in nature.
Oh, he has to find the ship, the interdimensional bell, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So, listen, we yet to be told, but here's what I will say. It's a little misleading, this Screen Rant hint at moon landing plot point. It's definitely interesting that they found it out. If these are set pictures, it's obviously an element of the show. But I'm going to hold up on how important that moon landing really is. It could be just he's passing through at that time to give us a setting of 1969, because we knew that Indiana Jones was going to have to move forward because he's so much older in the timetable.
Right. Look at what they say in this article too. Okay, they say, excuse me, stupid.
And is there a chance Indiana Jones himself will end up being launched into orbit?
No, it doesn't.
I hope not.
It says, telling a story across several time periods would indeed give Indiana Jones 5 a different feel than previous entries into the franchise. It remains to be seen how much of the film will be set in each time period, but it's safe to assume that World War II sequences will be kept to a minimum given the expense of de-aging Ford. It's then also safe to assume a big chunk of the movie will be set in 1969 around the time of the moon landing. But how will the space race eventually play into the story? And is there a chance that Indiana Jones himself will end up being launched into orbit? Not in a fridge, but in an actual catalog. Now, here's the interesting part. Adding sci-fi to Indiana Jones didn't work well when they tried it in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Okay. So let me give you several reasons why. You ready for this? Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, Walk the Line, and The Wolverine. These are all movies that James Mangold has directed. If you notice, James Mangold, he doesn't take that far-fetched fantasy angle when he does anything. It's very down to earth. It's very grounded. It's almost gritty. Yeah, so if he's doing it, it's going to be a more realistic type of movie.
Yeah, even when he's doing like superheroes, like honestly, Logan didn't even feel like a superhero. It just felt like an old guy that could fight.
I mean, dude, he's got 3:10 to Yuma. I mean, that movie is intense, bro.
That's actually super underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, hugely. I mean, this guy's a great director, and this is going to be a good movie. I can't see him. I mean, I watched Ford versus Ferrari, and I was like, holy cow, it's such a good movie. He's going to bring this. It's going to be good, and it's going to be grounded. So I just think that we need all the far-fetched stuff. It's fun to fantasize about it, but this is going to be Indiana Jones in 1969, probably trying to thwart some sort of Nazi hidden sleeper cell that is trying to impact the world somehow.
I wouldn't like a little, Forrest Gump action though, like where maybe like the story requires more time than you can actually put in a movie, so they have different time periods where he meets these people or meets this or learns this or.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Like the reason he knows where this bell thing is that they're looking for is because he saved some chick in the 50s and she talked about it and whatever, like some context to it, not just like I hate this. I hate exposition to explain plot because of laziness. I hate that.
Yes, I do too.
There's nothing worse than like, oh, I just know that because I'm a history professor. Well, hold up. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want to get on it, but I just watched the entire season of Picard for this video, and they do that a lot. A lot.
Well, yeah, we don't want to go into that right now.
Anyways, but I don't like exposition for the sake of. Okay, if you could tell a story, tell a story.
And you're right. I think what's going to happen is, hopefully what happens is we get a de-aged Harrison Ford who comes across this bell during the time of the Nazis when it's still relevant. And now here we are in 1969, where that artifact has somehow causing some sort of problem in the world that he now has to deal with and that only he understands.
Oh, Matt, maybe some government guys pull him out of retirement because he was the last person to interact with this bell and knows how it works or who was involved or whatever.
Right.
And we get that line, I'm getting too old for this.
Right. Well, it must, and it maybe interact somehow with, or it has something to do with the, us going to the moon. Although the scene they're setting up looks like it's maybe post when they returned already from the moon. So I'm not sure if that would, if that would happen. Maybe it's just later in the movie. It would be interesting if it was going to impact the moon landing and he was there and Indiana Jones basically saved us from not going to the moon. That'd be kind of cool.
Or maybe Nazi made it there first.
No, it's not it, man. No Nazis on the moon, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, they don't have to be there. They could have launched a rocket to the moon. And that's where they hid part of their device or something.
You know how long it took us to figure out how to launch a rocket?
But we took all their scientists to launch our rockets.
Yeah, but do you know how many rockets we blew up before we actually were able to launch one successfully?
I understand that, bro, but Project Paperclip is not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact. We literally hired all the Nazis that were working there to come work for us after the war.
Right, but it took 10 to 20 years to get that process down right, and all the Saturn rockets that we had to create that exploded, and I think we would know if Germany was launching missiles to the moon.
Yeah, this guy, the father of rocketry was a straight SS Nazi.
He was, absolutely.
Yeah,
Werner,
he was
Werner van Braun.
Probably a war criminal, and we just sort of
Yeah, well, I'm not going to make any judgments. I
don't know. I'm just saying that that's what we don't know. I feel like we forgave a lot because this guy was super smart.
Well, I think a lot of, if you could help the country, if you were a scientist and could help the country, then you're going to get a pass. A lot of these guys who, were part of, putting the Jewish people and getting them killed and all that stuff. I mean, no matter what benefit they should have been punished. But you also don't know how much people are doing things because they don't have a choice. I think that was part of it too. Let me tell you something. If the Nazis came to your house and you weren't Hail Hitler, you're just going to get killed.
Yeah.
So
we just got demonetized. Thanks. Okay.
Well, we're not monetized anyway, so
we can do whatever we want. Bleep, bleep, bleep. No, you're right though. And also remember, the internet didn't exist. So
there was
people were doing jobs that they were semi-forced to do in the country that was very fascist. And it's not like there was a blog running around talking about the genocide happening 400 miles east, right?
Right.
Or west or whatever. Unlike now, where there is the internet, and this is a great segue into our next topic. But there's a genocide going on in China. Okay, China is doing some pretty horrible stuff.
Yes.
And I don't want to get too far into that side of it, but here's the segue. There is the internet. We all know about it. And because of the amount of money they make Hollywood, it's ignored. It's incredible what China can get away with when everyone knows what they're doing, but no one cares because they're signing paychecks.
Thanks for watching. To see the full conversation, become a member of the Popcast family. Use the link in the description below or go to our channel and click the join button. Select your tier and we'll see you at the next show.